Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and you are here for day 5 of the 12 Days of Litmas. This, of course, being my favorite haiku. Of course, I'm not going to be able to leave it simply to a haiku for this video, so I'd like to go into a little bit about what haiku is. And one might say that haiku is the striving to reach Zen through words. Manuela Dunn Maschetti in Haiku, the Poetry of Zen, says, "The challenge of Zen is to meet each day, each moment, with a clear mind and a cleansed spirit, so that the moment-to-moment union with existence becomes the highest teaching." And it is from that book that my favorite haiku will come shortly. However, I think that it is important to share a little bit more. Harold G. Henderson says, "Zen, illumination, satori, is apparently a strong emotional experience for which there are no words." And on haiku further, these are all notes, by the way, that I took in my last quarter of grad school while I was sitting in the library reading books, so I apologize if these are a bit disjointed. But one of the patriarchs, if you will, of haiku was Shiki, who had these points of advice for writing haiku. 1, be natural. 2, don't bother about old rules of grammar and special points like spellings. 3, read the old authors, remembering that in them you will find good and bad poems mixed. 4, and how very poignant of a haiku writer to note that even in the greats you're going to find good and bad haikus, right? 4, notice that commonplace haiku are not direct, but artificially twisted out of shape. 5, write to pleasure yourself. If your writings do not please yourself, how can you expect them to please anyone else? Also, remember perspective. Large things are large, but small things are also large if seen close up. Delicacy should be studied, but it cannot be applied to human affairs in 17 syllables. It can be applied to natural objects. Haiku are not logical propositions, and no process of reasoning should show them on the surface. One of the other patriarchs of haiku, of course, is Basho, and Harold G. Henderson says this on Basho: "Among the qualities which are often considered as indicative of his Zen are a great zest for life, a desire to use every instant to the uttermost, an appreciation of this even in natural objects, a feeling that nothing is alone, nothing unimportant, a wide sympathy and acute awareness of relationships of all kinds, including that one of sense to another. That of one sense to another." So, a few haiku from Basho, and of course I was less studious perhaps back then. I don't know who translated these, but Basho's death poem: "On a journey ill, and over fields all withered dreams, go wandering still. The unknown flower, to bird and butterfly, unknown, a flower blooms, the autumn sky." And finally from Basho, "Song from the Sky. The whole long day he sang and is unsated still, the skylark." But my favorite haiku comes from Natsume Soseki, and I'm sure I am murdering these names, but we will read 3 haiku from Natsume before my absolute favorite haiku, and you'll be able to tell why this is my favorite haiku. But first, "Spring rain. Come inside my nightgown, your nightingale too." Then, also from Soseki, "O leaves, ask the breeze which of you will scatter first from the verdant trees." And, not knowing why, I feel attached to this world, where we come only to die. But my absolute favorite haiku: confined within doors, a priest is warming himself, burning a Buddha statue. If you've watched this show for any time now, you will know why that is my favorite haiku. This is a very strong nihilistic image, and I don't know that there is anything... Is it nihilistic, though, right? A Buddha statue is just a statue. It is not the Buddha. Surely if one could burn a Buddha statue to prolong one's life in order to study the Buddha further, this would be a religious experience. But to be confined within doors and still cold enough to have to set one's Buddha statue on fire in order to draw the warmth to live, and being willing to do so, that is, if you ask me, a very nihilistic scene. A scene of the loss of faith, and a scene which is all too human, if I may pun. So, that is it for day 6 of the 12 days of Litmus, and I hope to see you tomorrow, or for day 5 of the 12 days of Litmus, and I hope to see you tomorrow for day 6, which will be my story with literature. And if you have any haikus that are your favorite, be sure to share them in the description below.